Hey, JulesBlessedVegan, and as always, welcome to my channel. And for those of you who are new, I know you can benefit. I'm in the dark, people. That's why I'm just in black and white. I'm in the dark. It's not to say that there isn't sunshine and color in my world, but it was pouring rain today and very gray. But God gave me 2 rainbows on the way home. One, I could see the entire arc the whole way across the sky, and the other, just the base, like 6 colors wide, where you could just, it was like a slide at an amusement park. I could just see all the leprechauns getting ready for St. Patrick's Day. It was so beautiful. And that was in the midst of the rain and darkness and tornado warning in the high desert. Like, huh? What? Anyway, I just feel like I'm in the dark on so many things right now. And one of them is just prayer for my nephew. You know, he is getting better in some ways, but his body's breaking down in other ways because it's not like he's feeding and nourishing himself or even moving, right? So keeping his hands from atrophying, a wound on his heel, which is having a difficult time healing, and it totally smacks of me caring for my father and not being able to heal his wounds, which was very scary. And for the same reason, he wasn't getting proper nutrition. So now they're closing the hospital because of the coronavirus. And my sister, of course, is super distraught. She won't know from day to day when she's permitted to go in. And, you know, it's hundreds of miles from her home, and she's trying to stay at different Airbnbs and do whatever she can to just love her son for every moment that he's here. And it's such a beautiful, difficult story. And I know in my helplessness that I'm called to pray. And honestly, I mean, it is a time right now, absolutely a time for us to do penance, us to offer things up, for me in my day, it's not a matter of when I will have temptation, when I will feel compulsive, when I might have cravings. Forgive me, it's not a matter of if, it is when, because it does hit me at some point every single day. And there's that crazed obsession and feeling out of control. And, inevitably in the hours of teaching, I suddenly make a plan of how I'm going to go off. And then I remind myself that I'm allowed to eat anything I want. Sometimes it stops there and I don't get to the part about I eat plants. Luckily, I triumphed again today, but there was nothing easy about it. And part of it was just, I forgot my lunch at home. So I had my 8 cups, luckily, of lemon water with chia, and I was able to kind of nurse that all day long. But what I've been doing on Tuesdays and Fridays for the planet and for prayer, I fast till 5. And then on my way home, I eat like celery and have a lovely salad when I get home. And I also have a second 8 cups of water, which I didn't have with me because it was in my lunch kit. I didn't have my celery because it was in my lunch kit. And I just had to keep calming down and offering it up. I knew I wasn't going to starve. I knew that it was grace for my body to be able to just, abstain and do its process. And when I got home, I made an amazing salad, and it was fantastic and satiating. But for a couple of hours there, I was crazed. And I had brought money for purchasing a yearbook. But all of a sudden, I was like, I have $20, and I could buy anything I want. And I went through the whole scenario of binging down the $20, faking a desire to eat dinner because inevitably I'd be sick and bloated and disgusted and not want to eat my dinner, deciding if I would make it anyway to try and fake my husband out, and then, take it into the kitchen halfway through and discard part of it. Like this whole thing, all the nightmare. And then I was like, people are dying all over the world from the coronavirus right now. And you may become one of them if you don't choose wellness, because your body will be vulnerable to all the toxins that it's desperately trying to fight instead of fighting off a virus. And you'll be taking yourself down for what? For what? So I had to kind of go there. But there's just a lot of things I don't know right now, and I've been leaving God text messages and emails. At one time I called him and it said, this box is full and can't accept messages at this time. I'm like, really, Father? Are you kidding me right now? And then I got like a little text saying, Juliana, where were you when I created the world? And can you leave it to me to take care of this? I'm like, yes, Father, but I wouldn't mind if you told me, and I promise I won't tell anyone. He's like, yeah, I'm going to ensure that you don't tell anyone by not telling you. I just know whatever his plan is, at the end of the day, it's mercy. It is mercy. But we have to ask forgiveness. I was talking to someone and they said that they've never had to ask forgiveness because they've never sinned, and that if they went to confession, they'd have to make it up because they're free of sin. Forgive me. That was scary. And I kind of ducked a minute because I was afraid lightning was going to come through the ceiling. Like, really? We all fall short of God, but for his grace, we all fall short. Humans are fallible. Let's be real. All right, so I'm praying for all of you. I can't stand this whole coronavirus thing. I mean, on the one hand, so many of us say it's hyped up, and it most certainly is. It's really in our face, and compared to the standard flu, I think they said 37,000 people ended up dying around the world last year. And the coronavirus is much smaller, but it seems much more rapid, and we don't have answers for it yet. And so it's just scary. You know, I'm working with my students to make sure they're washing their hands, making sure that they're not sharing all their treats. You wouldn't believe, all day long, kids hand me a naked apple, which is so sweet. They hand me some of their, jelly beans or whatever. They hand me like stuff all day, and from each other, they just throw it in their mouth as is. And they have big bags of Takis and all these things, and they're reaching into each other's bags. They take a drink of somebody else's, but they make sure it doesn't touch their mouth. And I'm like, yeah, you do know that it touched their mouth, and everything running out of that bottle is going past their germs. Just stuff like that. So it has to be a lot of God's grace. I know the bottom line is if you believe that you're saved, and being saved is rather simple. You simply admit to God that you know that you are fallible, that you're sorry for any times that you have offended him, that you want to be on his team at the end of your life, Team Jesus in particular, and that you are willing to be open to his grace in whatever change he brings to you. So, it's not hard to be saved, but it is hard to trust in the moment, especially when it's super scary. And there's scary things right now. And I'm a prayer person, and it's still scary. So anyway, that's kind of where I am. As you know, we're doing our random acts of kindness, and if you just joined us, sorry for the heavy talk, but I have to share a minute because where else can I? But anyway, for the random acts of kindness, today it was kind of a good one. It was writing a note to your future self and writing a note to someone else's future, a loved one. So I did end up writing a teacher. It wasn't that first one that I had implied, but it was this teacher who's always trying to have boundaries. She's working on its, personal boundaries, knowing how to say no. And I wrote her a note saying, I see in your future that all of this foundation that you have started will be in place, and that you will evolve exactly into that person that you're longing to be. And she absolutely loved that. She totally loved that. I'm going to write in my food journal right now and write a note to my future self. I'm not there yet, but I want to believe that there is a future for this self, And I know it can be in either realm. If God really is going to take us out, I don't believe he is, and biblically the numbers aren't adding up yet anyway. But it would certainly mean transitioning to heaven and doing service there. So I'm trying to trust all of that. So the random act of kindness for tomorrow, it's a nice one. It is simply to text or email someone in your life a simple good morning or good night. I will tell you why this is so precious. Last week, in fact, it wasn't even last week. What is today? God, Don't tell me it was just yesterday. That's how crazy my life is. It could have just been yesterday. That's how, oh my goodness. Who cares when it was? Whenever it was, I opened up my email and there was a note that said, "Good morning, sunshine." And it had a little icon of the, sunrise. I was so taken aback. It was like super unexpected. But the great thing about it is it was contagious. I mean, after I pondered that this person was referencing me as being light and sunshine, I decided to be that all day. And it just kept coming to me. And I thought, how great that that person sees me as sunshine, as a bright light. I'm going to take that. And I took it. So surprise someone, maybe someone in extra need, and just text them, "Good morning. I'm glad you're on the planet. Good night, sweet dreams," like whatever it is, a good morning or good night. In an email, a text, a voicemail, whatever you want to do, surprise someone with that. It may change their whole day. It certainly changed mine. All right, my friends, like if you like, join us if you haven't, subscribe. And until we talk again, know that I am praying for you. I am praying for the planet. And if you have prayer intentions, I'm your girl. And until we talk again, best of all, trust that you're blessed.